All right. Thank you guys so much for joining. This is the Cash Flow Empire, where every Tuesday we get together at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, and talk about the dirty, ugly truth, whether it's multifamily, fix and flip, anything real estate related. And today I'm super, super, super excited because they're actually both of my partners, Willie and Enrique, which I admire. I call him super dad all the time, right? Because he's always on the calls with the girls. And then my other partner, Eddie Esparza. Eddie's our numbers guy. He's just our spreadsheet guy. He loves market research. He loves numbers. And I can't relate because I don't love spreadsheets. That's more of his thing. But you guys, I'm ready to get started. I know I forgot to hit record. So we're gonna have to repeat some of the stuff that was said previously. But I do want to, how did Willie and Eddie meet? That's what I want to know. When did you guys meet? How long ago? And how did you guys came to joining the Cashflow Empire?
You want to start or you want me to start?
Willie, go ahead because Eddie's being shy today.
So, I met Eddie roughly almost like a year ago. I don't know, we joined another mastermind, right? So 6 months during my journey, um, I was stuck. I was trying to do everything myself, underwrite, deal source, raise capital, and then I went on a 2 day trip to Dallas with my other mastermind where I was surrounded by like-minded people, and they told me like, hey, you gotta you can't do this by yourself. You gotta find teammates. So then I started joining the Tuesday calls. That mastermind had Tuesday calls every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And then one day I met in a breakout room. I met Eddie. We connected. We shared our journey. We come from similar backgrounds, and we told each other what we did. And then we just continued getting on calls, and they, hey, like, let's just partner up. And then that's when we started partnering up, started deal sourcing together, and then that's how we really met.
And just to add to that, it was we obviously we all network, we all get in the same rooms, either virtually or in person. But one thing that stood out was, seeing someone else who had the same, sense of urgency, the work ethic, the discipline, day in and day out. And we've actually attempted to partner with other people. They say one thing and do the other thing. Willie, when he says he's going to do something, he doesn't. I really resonated with that. And, actions spoke louder. So that's when we decided, hey, let's make this, a real thing, right? Let's partner together and just hit the floor running.
And also during that, so we went through multiple partners, right? I actually joined with my sister. She started with me. However, she has different values, right? She a different route. So, she stepped away. We had an underwriter on the team. He couldn't keep up with the underwriting. And that's where we met Frank. He's actually one of our other partners that helped us closing this deal. And he's the numbers guy. He's the one that underwrites all the deals. And that's when one day on Instagram, he just hit me up like, hey, what you got going on? He had a little falling out with his partners. Like, and during that time, we was looking for an underwriter, and that's when he joined us. So, Frank, you want to tell everybody about a little bit about yourself?
Come on, Frank, let's go.
Thanks, Willie. Yeah. So I took up underwriting because it was something that I could I could just work in my work schedule. I couldn't raise capital. I was an introvert and I did not like talking to people, but I could be at home running numbers. So that's what I took up, and I'm glad I did, because if I didn't take up that role, I probably wouldn't be here today. So that's that's just something that I took on. So I got introduced to multifamily in 2022, and single family didn't work for me, and multifamily checked all the boxes that I needed in order to achieve the life that I wanted and to have the impact on the community that I wanted. So that's why I took up multifamily. So
So I have two questions. First
I
one's
have a
for,
question.
okay, Serge, go ahead.
Nah, I wanted to shout out these guys really quick. Guys, I didn't know Frank. Frank, man, you got some really good
What's up,
content.
dude? Thanks,
Uh,
dude.
yeah, I didn't know that Frank was a third amigo in the group. That's amazing. That's amazing that you guys got together. And just really quick, I wanted to shout you guys out because I mean, you guys are just phenomenal. Yeah, I can see why y'all kind of fit in each other's puzzle. You know, y'all are like a puzzle, and how y'all can collaborate very, very well. And my question to you guys, really quick, and any one of you guys can answer it. I'm just gonna ask away, and if you feel like you got the right answer, then go ahead. But I know when I started this journey with Jonathan, we started in different groups too. We created like a 13-person group at one time where we all thought, that was the first group we ever created, and we thought that that's what it was going to be. Come to find out that not everybody was taking enough action, and then it was the three amigos, which, as many of you know, as many of you met us, it was me, Tony, Alonzo, and Jonathan. And then Tony kind of had to step back just because he had other ventures he needed to focus on, right? Some personal things. And then it was just me and John as far as you know, communicating every single day, and I don't care what part of what groups you're in, guys. There's always, there's always going to be that one person you talk to on the daily. Everybody's got that group where, you know, you kind of connect, right? You like John. I talk to John every 30 minutes. We always call each other and hey, have you done this, or are we doing this, or how are we with that? And keep each other in the loop. But guys, really quick, I was just kind of going left field here. How important is it for those people that are listening? You guys are doing big things. We're obviously collaborating on a lot of things, right? Which is making this reality of becoming multifamily owners, come to life. And that's something that we all want to do. But explain the importance to people in this group that are in the room today of just trying to find your niche, just trying to find that partner, and just it being okay to let go of certain partnerships that aren't working out, because we all know that we got to do this together. At the end of the day, we have to close deals together as a group. So can y'all explain, just give people the assurance that, what, guys, it's okay to go out and try to find your click, and obviously we y'all know that we got ours, we got ours going with MIA and everything, and we're all just coming together closing deals left and right. So really quick, can y'all explain how it is okay to try to find your people in your crowd?
Yeah, man, it's really important. And I'll go back to what I said just a few minutes ago. Like, you need to see, obviously get to know the person, their values, their work ethic, what drives them. But then, on the other hand is, can they deliver, right? So, for us is, Willie has been day one, right? Willie and I, and then later on, Frank, joined the team, and it's been a lot of up and downs as far as forming partnerships. A lot of people falling out. A lot of people say they're going to do they're going to do one thing, they don't deliver. This isn't a priority to them. And we just knew that this was something that we wanted to take down. So when we got introduced, or I got introduced to Frank because Willie knew him previously, this was someone who had the same aspirations, right? And even myself dealing with in previous careers, hiring, mentoring, coaching, training people, give me someone who probably doesn't have as much experience, but is ready to get their hands dirty, opposed to the person who's been doing it for a couple of years and have been, they're stuck in their way. So for us, all three of us, we knew that we wanted to, this was our goal. We're going to make it happen one way or another. And we just kind of just shifted into our roles, right? We broke it down. We said, this is what it's going to take for us to do it. Like, who's going to step up and do what? And right from, the first couple calls, we just meshed really well. We talk to each other every day, if not every other day. I know that when I talk to Willie, I'm also talking to Frank, and if Frank is talking to Willie, he's also talking to me. So it was just that partnership, right? That relationship that we built.
So to go off of that, it's funny you asked that because I specifically remember that call. And Willie's always about, I remember when he would introduce people, he always asked, what are your goals? And I remember I just laid it all out because like you, Sergio, my first group, there wasn't 13. I think there was only maybe 8 of us. And we were all gonna be GPs. And then after being in that group, I was like, there's a lot of chiefs, but not enough Indians. So, I was like, okay, it ended up falling apart. And I was like, okay, I have to find my next team. I still have a good relationship with them, but I need to find my next team. And when Willie hit me up, it was like the universe, whatever, talking. And I met with Willie and Eddie, and I was like, and Willie was like, what are your goals? I was like, these are my goals. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make you guys to prove to you guys, even though Willie and Eddie they weren't too far along from me. I needed to prove my worth, right? And I'm someone that, if you need me to do something and I say yes, I can do it, I'm gonna do it. And I think we meshed really well because of all of our goals. We were all wanting to get into an asset, only multifamily. Willie wasn't like, oh, I want to do storage. Eddie wasn't like, oh, I want to do single. It was like, we're all going to do multifamily. Our goals were aligned. We're all motivated. And that's when I was like, it's gonna work out. And it did. And we ended up, flying all together 4 months later to Kansas City. And it was like, after that, that was like the bond right there. And I was like, I want to do business with these guys as long as I can. So, yeah.
I love it. And Willie, were you gonna say something? Because I was about to go off on some
Go ahead.
gold.
You can go ahead.
Just everybody just needs to understand, guys. Like it is okay to not necessarily burn bridges. I mean, because it does happen. Let's just face it, right? There's some bridges that are burnt. I mean, there is some times where there's a sour taste left in your mouth when you have to break a relationship, as in life, right? And it's okay. At the end of the day, it's just life goes on and it's a part of the game. Some things work out and some don't. So for those of you guys just trying to find your niche, trying to find what home is, you're trying to just figure this out and like you're dabbling, like where do I belong? It is okay for you to burn some bridges. I mean, huge shout out really quick to my partner Sean Ricehouse. That's a guy right there. I'm so down for that guy as a partner, as a friend, as a brother, and everybody that's in the MIA group because, when we formed MIA, it was through okay, you know what, guys, our current partnership didn't work, our goals don't align, our cultures don't align. Like, well, what's up? We just all happen to be in the same room one day. Like, well, what y'all got going on? Well, nothing at the moment. We're just trying to find the next deal. What y'all got going on? Well, we're looking for the next deal. So, we're all from Dallas, and it was like, hey, well, let's collab. Let's do something together, right? Like we've been talking, we've been networking for 2 years now. Like they say, let's just get in bed together and let's see where this goes. And, obviously, there's been what I love about us is that, we can have the serious talks all the time, if there's some things that need to be said, we say them. And, and I love that we're not rude to each other, but we truly do come out and say, hey, look, this is the way I feel. Maybe I don't agree with some things that are happening, but, this is what's going on. And maybe we should start doing this more. And it's just like, hey, let's do it. You're right. That's what partnerships are about. And this is why I love, our group so much because we align so well. We all kind of like you three guys, we have the same vision. What do we want to do? How do we want to get there? And how, what steps, what action are we going to take to get there? And we all have so unique personalities, guys. I like to sit there and say that me and Sean have the same personality and we're pretty much the same person. And I see John and John and Jana have the same personality. It's pretty cool how that resonates. And then there's Tammy, who's got a mix of all of us. And then Dr. Tim, right? But we all pretty much correlate very, very well with each other. And I think as long as The point that I'm trying to make, guys, for those of y'all that are listening, who are on this call, you know, who want to get to the point where Willie, Frank, and Eddie are as far as a partnership. Like, guys, it's okay. You're gonna burn some bridges. You know, you're gonna cut some ties with certain people. There ain't no beef as long as you sit there and be honest up front and say, hey, it's not working out. You know, my goals are this. I don't think we're just kind of lining out, but I'm gonna go this way. I'll see you around, and you know, no feelings hurt. It's all that matters. So, congratulations to you three though. Like for real. Like y'all are like just y'all's personalities and everything just mesh up so well. And it's just super important to really just have those goals aligned. So that's what I wanted to say really quick. But Yoshi, you had a question before I cut you off, girl. My bad. I had to get my flow going. What question do you have for the guys right here who just got in their first deal?
Damn, Serge, you know I have ADHD. So I actually do remember it. It was for Frank. Frank, you said that single family house did not qualify your criteria. How come you decided to go multifamily, not single family?
So my whole thing was in the midst of COVID, I started learning that I wanted to get into real estate, but I also was learning that my family had gotten into bad investments and lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I was like, okay, how do I get them into real estate? And it was super hard to get them involved in single family, just one person. The pie was too small to include everyone. So I went on a search and I was like, how can I include more? And the next thing up was, duplexes to quads, and that was still too small. And I started learning about small apartments. And once I set out a goal. I wanted to close a 15 unit in 2022. And I ran into someone that was a syndicator. He had a portfolio, and he lived on the island that I'm from. And I messaged him one day and I was like, hey, can I come to your office and just ask you, just ask you a bunch of questions? And he introduced me into syndication. That's how I got here. So he was one of the pivotal people in my life that showed me, think bigger. That throws a hint.
Was that Tyler?
Yeah.
What? Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Tyler Devereaux, which he just had. For those of y'all that don't know who he is, that's where I'm actually met a year ago. I met a lot of phenomenal people out of that group that till this day we're doing a lot of business with. That's where I met, for those of y'all that don't know, that's where I met Willie. Through Willie, I also met Yoshi. Through Willie, I ended up meeting Eddie, which ended up meeting Frank. I also met Mr. Shane Rutledge. I know who Mr. Shane Rutledge is. Met him through that network too. I met Mr. Kevin McQueen, who was in the house tonight, through that network also. And I've met some of the best people, guys, that we're actually currently doing business with came through that network. Those are some action takers in that room. And I'm super blessed that I've met, a lot of you guys through that network. And that's crazy, Frank. That's crazy how you just said,
Yeah.
you go to your office and talk about multifamily. All of a sudden, it is Tyler the man himself.
Yeah.
So how was that experience just talking to Tyler, on the island? Because I know it's different.
Yeah, and man, it's funny because if I just think about how I dressed going to that appointment, I was literally not dressed for that appointment. I was wearing shorts, a t-shirt, I had long hair, I had a beard. And that's why he didn't recognize me in the following March at the 3-day event. He was shocked. So it was amazing. He answered a bunch of questions, and a lot of people in my life, they don't know much about growth, about opportunities. So he was one of I would say the second person in my life at that point that actually directed me somewhere. And everything was value. And how he explained syndication, I still didn't know what he was talking about until I got into his program. So yeah, it
In
was a
case you
great
guys
day.
don't know, Frank lives in Hawaii, so he's in paradise every day.
I'm jealous. That's amazing, Frank, and I'm super glad. Things happen for a reason. And guys, y'all do me a favor. Y'all put y'all's Instagram handles in the chat, please. Just because if y'all don't follow these three gentlemen, guys, they are just killing it on social media. They're literally posting very, very great content, very informative, very just everything. I love every single one of these guys' social media. They're really, really good. They actually inspired me to keep posting, what I going on to the daily. So that's just awesome, guys. And I actually got a question for the three of you guys. This is why we're on the call tonight. The name of the call was From Rookie Mistakes to Multifamily Closers. So what mistakes as rookies did you guys make that essentially taught you a really, really big lesson in the syndication world for those people that are here and that need to learn a little something?
Oh man, I think what haven't we done, right? Uh, and and I always think of it as this isn't an obstacle, right, or a failure. It's an opportunity. It's you fall down 5 times, get up six, keep moving forward. But we weren't really honed in, right? We weren't honed in. We didn't have direction. We didn't have right partners. We weren't part of the right groups. So we regrouped and we knew that, hey, through this team, right? If we have that mentality that we can take this on, if we have the discipline and the consistency to keep going every day, right? We have, we talk every day. We have scheduled meetings on our calendar, that we need to jump on. And if we're a few minutes late, hey, are you joining the call? We've jumped on calls on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, scheduled calls where we're just going through numbers, we're going through deals. And I think just a few when we started out was not having the right partners. I think it's not having the right partners, the same people, the people that are going to help you think bigger and grow and help you achieve this huge thing, right? And I think the other one was we're trying to cast a wide net instead of kind of focusing on in our lane, right? So becoming an expert in this one thing, honing in, understanding it all. So when we talk to other people, or we talk to the brokers, right? We know what we're talking about. And Willie, Frank, feel free to add to the list of our mistakes here.
Go ahead, Willie.
One of our mistakes, I remember like 7, 8 months in, we had a deal, right? And the broker was like, hey, you guys are close, but we wasn't prepared. Like, we didn't have a sponsor. We didn't have anything prepared to even put an offer in because we didn't have the right relationships. So that we learned that we had to have the right relationship with the PM company, the sponsors, and have all our ducks in order to put an offer in. When we got on the call, we was actually upset because on the last minute we didn't submit the offer, but we didn't have any systems in place to submit an offer in. So now, a year and a half in, now we have all the relationships we need to submit offers in the market. Like, now we have MI group, right? We send it to Jonathan. He confirms, hey, it's a good deal. Submit an offer. So now that was one of the mistakes that we learned from having our ducks in order to submit these offers for these deals.
And that one still hurts because we had the numbers, we had the relationship with the broker, and he's asking us submit it, and you guys are likely to get awarded. So where
was the deal at?
It was in KC.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Frank,
So
what about you? Or I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, so those are, if I was to name mistakes, it would be those. And one more would be, if I could just say one, I wish I started raising sooner. I couldn't do face-to-face, and I just wasn't comfortable. Imposter syndrome. but I wish I had started having conversations earlier with people, about investing, educating, because maybe we could have gotten into more deals if we would have had conversations earlier about investing with having conversations with investors earlier. So I wish I had that. I wish that's a mistake. I would, if anyone can take anything away from this call, have conversations with anyone that you don't know who has money. I promise. The guy who wears shorts and a ripped t-shirt probably has 300,000 in his 401k. So you just never know. And having conversations earlier, you can possibly get into more deals.
Man,
That was,
that's
that was you go ahead.
Willie. Keep going, Willie. Go ahead. No, you
Oh,
go.
that was another mistake I made myself personally. I remember we got invited to raise 100,000, and we'll get some GP in our North Carolina deal. And my mistake was not putting myself in front of the investors, like all the soft commits I already had, constantly be in their face, sending them emails, following up how they doing, because you could have all these soft commits, right? Well, when the deal is there and you tell them like, hey, I got the deal, you don't know what they got going on personally. You don't know where the money's coming from, how long it's gonna take them to get the money in. You don't know they have a family emergency. I know for me, a lot of my investors had a lot of family emergencies, so they couldn't invest. So that's a mistake I made personally in this journey, is not be in front of the investors all constantly in their face, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Nice, Willie.
So in other words, what you're saying, Willie, is for those that are listening, um, keep them warm, right? Reach out to them, hype them up, let them know what the next, or even if the deal is let them know, hey, listen, you just missed out on something good. We just closed on it, but guess what? We have another in the pipeline, or where I was looking. I remember when there was a relationship with when I just started. I was rookie at one point, right? And I'm still a rookie, by the way. I'm just, you got to kind of just make sure we close will be a lesson learned for the rest of my life. So I do want to just say that, right? But when I was just getting started and I haven't GP'd in anything, I used to always text the broker here in local for Dallas that I was talking to from Newmark. When I was closing deals outside, or I was GPing or doing a property tour, I'll send them a picture. Hey man, look where I'm at. I'm in freaking Orlando right now, or I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm walking a property. When we close our first deal here in Dallas, it was actually the second one, but when we closed Dallas, let's see, it. I sent them a picture of all of us. Hey, look what we closed. Look how this is. He's all man, congratulations. So I can continue to bring my credibility with them. So Willie, I think you're right. You're 100% right. You should always be talking, as Frank was saying earlier. You always got to be talking. You got to be making noise. You got to be telling everybody what you're doing. You got to let your investors know what you're doing, even if you don't have nothing going on. You let them know, hey man, the deal we closed about 6 months ago is doing freaking phenomenal. We're doing monthly distributions. Look what you missed out on. And they're gonna be like, damn Frank, damn Willie, damn Eddie. Let me know on the next one, right? So guys, that's great. That's gold. If there is a piece of advice that you would tell somebody here in this group really quick, what would you tell them, now that they're just getting started, they're listening to you? I mean, you guys are a hell of a team. Y'all are all three just very, very close. Y'all got that chemistry. Y'all obviously just gotten closed on this first deal of y'all's. It obviously feels amazing. I know Eddie and Willie were in town, right? So what advice you want to put Janine right now, somebody that doesn't have a deal to get into their first, what would you tell them to do right now? How can they get in their first deal, guys?
One piece of advice is, so many times the syndrome and like, who am I to even be in this industry, especially in the DFW market. but you can do it. It all and if you just get over that hump and you battle every day, and you telling yourself
know, their mistake that we made was all, um, and that kind of hindered us from actually getting into the first deal, right? Uh, and it's really just getting in the right room. So now we're, you know, when we talk, we have certain goals and metrics that we need to hit every year. We break them down quarterly, monthly, weekly, and it was, hey, this year we're going to events, right? We're putting ourselves out there, we're connecting with people, we're networking. I think this year alone we've gone to like 4 different events already. You know, we're putting ourselves out there and getting to know people.
My advice is find the right go find the right mentor, and keep networking to find that mentor that will help you scale. So that's what we did. Last year I met at Peak Partnership. I met Sergio, and he became my mentor, and he's the reason I got into my first deal. Just learning as he grow, we're gonna continue to grow as a team, right? That's my advice. Find the right mentor, learn from them, and try to provide the most value you could to them, so you could grow too.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that love, man. Ever since I met, and I love bragging on Willie. Once again, Willie was the first one I met before he introduced me to his partners, right? But the minute I met Willie, guys, I'll never forget. Willie was the only one, and I'll never forget what I was wearing that day. Kind of like Frank. That day I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt and a cap. And I saw Willie. Willie was well suited up, dressed very, very professional, very just something about the guy. When I looked in his eyes and I shook his hand, I knew that he was serious. He was like very serious. Like, hey, I'm Willie Enriquez, and we connected. It was a quick connection, but I remember getting this. I had this feeling in me, like, man, like that guy right there. I'm gonna do some things with that guy. Um, and lo and behold, a year later, we're in a freaking deal together. I end up just considering him a brother. Him and then the guys, right, are just a brother. Like, man, hey Willie, this is what we got going on. Hey Willie, look, this is what we got going. You want in, or you want to come for the ride, right? And then that's really the philosophy we got going on over here, is just bringing everybody for the ride. Let's grow together. Let's go have fun together. Let's go, just take over the world together is what I like to say, right? So just a huge shout out to Willie, man. I'm just glad that we met a year ago now, literally a year ago, because Peak was just this weekend. So literally a year ago, we literally met, and a year later, man, we're doing some big things together, and there's more to come. So y'all hold on for the ride, because there's more about to hit the pipeline. So y'all get ready. And they always say, once you get in your first deal, like it's just that it just takes that first deal, and then you're gonna just start skyrocketing. So that being said, I got a really important question for you guys. The quick question is, how long were y'all in multifamily before y'all got in y'all's first deal? What was that time frame? And then I got a follow up for that. So what was that time frame, give or take?
For me, it was exactly 2 years.
2 years.
I was in the 3-day event literally March 20, maybe the week of the 20th in 2022. And exactly 2 years later, we closed on our first deal. So it's, I'm happy I strung along and I kept going. A lot of people that were in that 3-day event with me, I don't see anymore. So it's resilience, and I knew I wanted it, and I was willing to do anything. And I mean, you can even ask Eddie. I was literally like maybe like 2-3 months ago, me and Eddie were talking. I was like, dude, man, like it's getting hard. Like, I'm at the point where people quit. And look, lo and behold, I was literally 3 feet from gold. And see, if I would have quit, dude, like, oh, crazy, man. Almost getting chicken skin right now.
And this is the beauty of partnership, right? Because I know I had those thoughts. Um, Frank, was he had the courage enough to open up, and also conversations with Willie, like, hey man, like, is this gonna happen? Are we gonna get there? Are we gonna, are we gonna accomplish this? And every time we just said, hey, you can't doubt yourself, you got to keep going. And we pushed ourselves up. And yeah, it was long days, long nights, and finally you got the first one down, sense of relief, like, hey, this is attainable. So funny, I started getting a bunch of text messages and calls the last couple of days, asking to jump on calls, and I did, and with a few friends that I first brought this up with, and this was to answer your question, Serge, about a year ago, about you know, a year and a half ago. I brought this opportunity saying that, like, hey guys, let's stop messing around in residential and make sure that we get into this, right? We can take this down if we come in as a team. No one believed, crickets. And then now, finally with the opportunity with MIA, with Sean, right? With you, Serge, and Jonathan, just entire team, having that culture to bring people up, getting people in, and really just opening doors, right? Boosting the confidence and the credibility. Now they want to jump on the ship saying, hey, we see that it's attainable through you. Now we want to join. Now we want to partner. What do you need us to do? And it's, this isn't like that, overnight success. Like this took like a year plus in the making. So, again, many thank yous to Sean, MIA, Serge, Jonathan, Tammy, Joshi, everyone on the call, Cashflow Empires, huge, man. So, I mean, we're grateful to be in partnership with you guys. Again, those ambitions, that work ethic, just everything about you guys, like, we were able to relate with, and we said, hey, like, we want to get on board with you guys, not just because of the track record, but because we had that similar mindset, and we said we can work with these guys, right? And Luis as well, man. This guy's so passionate. Talking with him more on the weekend, and just making things happen, and hearing more about his story, resiliency. So, we're excited to be part of this deal, but more important to be part of this partnership, and call you guys partners, and continue pushing strong, man.
Willie.
Following up what Eddie said, I agree with everything he said. June 2022, so like roughly almost a year and a half, maybe. Since I started, and one connection away. That's all I can say. One connection away.
Yeah.
Before I give it to Luis, guys, I just want everybody that's in this room today, and for everybody that's going to listen to this recording, imagine just having this illusion of wanting to think big. Imagine of just fucking saying, you know what, I want to buy apartments. How am I going to do it? I want this. I want to do it. But how am I going to get there? I don't know anybody. I really want this, but most of y'all have families. I have, y'all like have spouses and kids, and imagine just putting it all on the line, being as long and as patient as you guys were, and as it takes to get in this damn game, to get in your first deal, and just trying to just fighting, clawing, just trying to figure this shit out. Like, man, this is not for everyone, and y'all got to understand that you got to have some damn thick skin to be in this game. You got to have patience, and you got to really buckle down and get on that saddle and sit there and be like, am I willing to sacrifice my time for this, my effort, my energy, all the money that goes into this shit, going to all these networking events, the flights, the hotels? Like, this adds up, guys. Just for you to come home and be like, and hear all this negative shit from people saying, you still ain't got a deal? Oh, you're still in multifamily? Multifamily? Nah, I don't believe in it. Like, this is, can you guys hear me?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is so damn tough. And, you know, for those of y'all listening, guys, just hang in there. Hang in there. I swear to God, like, it will be worth it. And it's not, like everybody says, it's not a get rich quick, but it's a get rich for sure. That's another thing you got. That's another wall you got to get through when you close, guys. By the time you know y'all are gonna be a part of 5-6 deals, and you're gonna be like, fuck, I ain't seen a dollar. You're gonna be scratching your head and like, man, is this really worth it? You know, until you go through a full cycle, then you get that boom, you take off. You know, and I ain't been, and don't get me wrong, guys, I'm a part of a few deals, you know, and when I say guys, I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to everybody, right? But like, there's other obstacles that you're gonna go through after you close your first deal. You know what I'm saying? It's not just okay. I'm in my first deal. I'm rich. You know, you really gotta. It is a true long term game, and the years add up. You know, the years do add up. By the time you know, you're like, man, I'm in year 4. You know, I may have not gotten something out of it yet, but it's coming. It's right around the corner. So, guys, I mean, great job, congratulations. I love the patience, because I'm with you. I was there too. I was everybody that's close. Mr. Sean Rice House was there too. Everybody that's been a part of deals, they've been in that boat too. So if you're a first timer in here and you're really just contemplating life, you're like, man, is this really worth it? Do I want to do this? Believe me, guys, it's way more than worth it. It just does take some time. And you got to continue to surround yourself with people like Frank, Willie, Eddie, that are going to pick you up when you're feeling down, when you're going into that rabbit hole, that dark one, and you're like, I want to quit. I don't want to do this. You know what? I'm in 2-3 deals. I don't want to do this. I haven't seen a dollar. Doesn't feel worth it. Why am I doing this? I can be doing something else with my time, right? But when you believe in something and you hang out with people who are 10x, who are thinking bigger, and who pick you up, and when you're down, that's all that matters, and it makes all this worth it. I'm glad that I'm able to surround myself with people like Eddie, Willie, Frank, my partner John, Sean, Luis. Every time we go, Yoshi, every time we go everywhere together, we all bunk up together. Hey, we're getting an Airbnb. There's gonna be like 10 of us in the Airbnb. We're gonna network, we're gonna collaborate, we're gonna talk goals, we're gonna talk about how we're gonna continue to grow. And that's what we do. So it's important and it's so imperative that you stick with people like Frank, Willie, and Eddie. You find your crew, you stick together, ride together, and until the wheels fall off. So keep it going. But once again, guys, that was a freaking great answer, and I hope that that hit people. You know what? I got to be patient. I'm 6 months in. I got to be patient. I'm a year in. I got to be patient. Frank's been in it for 2 years before he got in his first deal. So y'all be patient. That being said, Mr. Luis, Mr. Guatemala, who got blessed by Mr. Grant Cardone, that name. So y'all put some respect on it.
He got a
Hey
trade.
guys, thanks
Uh,
for the time you guys are spending tonight with us. It's very valuable information you guys are providing to us. We really appreciate that. I have a question for you guys. As you guys know, most of us come from zero, almost from nothing. So, how complicated it has been for you guys to, kind of succeed and make everybody believe in you guys, make yourself believe in yourself, because it's tough, even for me, because I came from zero, as you guys know. It's been a little complicated to even have my family understand me, everything that I'm doing right now. Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
wants to go first.
Yeah, I mean, I can go first because I literally went through that. My family supports me, but my fiance's family doesn't really understand what I do. And my father-in-law, who I used to work closely with, he kind of would shake his head at me and look at me kind of weird when I told him what I do. And I had moved home last April and I was working with him, and I had left working with him a month ago. And he didn't really agree with me leaving and doing this full time. So I totally understand, what you're going through with, family not believing in you. And you know, what gets me through all of that negative stuff is knowing who I am, as a person, knowing where I'm gonna be in the future. And it doesn't matter what she's saying about me. It doesn't matter what he's saying about me. What am I telling myself? Where am I gonna go? And that's way more important than what anyone else thinks. And that's why, you know, I said earlier, like, it's all up in here. That's the number one, line of defense for anything. And, you know, I hope that makes sense, but that is one thing that has gotten me through all the negativity, has gotten me through all the tough times in this whole thing. Yeah, that's my answer, Luis. Hope that was helpful.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Want to go, Willie?
Not go ahead, Eddie.
So, um, I'll start off with saying what I kind of experienced and then what's keeping me going. So again, like people not believing, right? Um, who would have thought that like a young kid Southside Chicago is now where he is now, right? So, I've always felt like an underdog. I always felt like people never truly believed in me. But I always knew that if I had to bet on something, I'd bet on myself. And it was always like, hey, I'm gonna accomplish this and I'm gonna show people out and I'm gonna show them that like, hey, it can be done, and I'm gonna show it like it can be done well, right? And it's gonna be done right. So just going with that mentality, like, hey, you want to envision yourself next year, 5 years, 10 years, where you want to be, and work towards that. So, for me, it was again, I brought this, opportunity of multifamily to close friends, to other people that I knew that were in real estate that I thought like, hey, like we're all thinking small, like let's think bigger, right? Let's do this together. We always talk about doing it together. Let's actually do it together. And it was just me at the end of the day. I just talked about I felt like maybe people thought it was a scam, it wasn't attainable, you're on a whole different, kind of mindset, or you just want my money, right? That's, at the end of the day, I was like, well, like I don't understand it. Why don't people want to do this? Like it all makes sense to me. And man, just sticking to it, man. Like you're not gonna get everybody to join in your path. You're not gonna get people to 100% believe it until they start seeing, you in those jets and those brand new cars and all of this, right? Because that's what is out there. Like, hey, I'm gonna show off my new clothes, new watches, chains, and tell you that I can make this fast money right now doing this, and people will more gravitate to that than this, which is like long-term wealth. You gotta be disciplined. You gotta actually put in the work, and it's not gonna come, instantly. So it's that delayed gratification, and people just aren't gonna see it till they see you, Luis. Over here, succeeding, you and your family in a much better place than you were last year, 2 years, or 5 years from now.
Thank you, sir.
For me, multifamily is a long journey. So, family and friends. And there's some cases where they do invest in you because they truly believe in you, but most cases they're the last ones to invest you. A lot of them want to see results. So I knew what I signed up for when I went in this journey. It's been a year and a half, right, since I closed my first multifamily deal. However, it would have took me 5 years. I was still was going to be persistent to close that deal, show them that I truly believe in this journey I'm in. So I truly believe that me showing them results, eventually they will invest.
That
Thank
is
you,
correct.
guys.
Great question, Luis. We got Miss Tammy in the house. Got her hand up.
That
And if y'all
means
have any questions, by the way, anybody in the crowd, please raise your hand. Ask a question in the comment. It can be about absolutely anything. These guys know the answer to your question. They know the answers on how to get started. They know the answers on what it takes to get in the first deal. Obviously, the just being patient in general, right? So these guys got some gold. They got some gold nuggets for you. And this is why we do these calls. is that so that you have access to people like Eddie, Frank, and Willie to grab your hand and to pick you up and be like, look, this is the way you do it. This is the reason why we do this cause. This is the reason why the Cashflow Empire podcast was built, guys. So don't be scared to ask questions because we're here to connect you with people that are making this shit happen. Okay? I want to stress. I just can't stress that enough. You know, don't y'all just remember going to Grant Cardone events or some rocks or Rod Cleves and saying, I want to be that guy. How do I get there? Well, it's people like Willie, Frank, and Eddie. That's how you do it. So please don't hesitate. Ask some questions. Go ahead, Tammy. I'm sorry.
Wait. Before Tammy goes, Tammy, huge shout out. She hosted the boys here in Dallas. I just want to say huge shout out. You know, she opened up the doors to us and the team. So, girl, we fucking love you.
You're muted. You're
Tammy,
muted.
we can't hear you.
Tammy Yates.
Oh, still can't hear you. I do have a question that I wanted to answer really quick. I got a direct DM. Being that this is your first deal, what's one piece of advice that you would give to your past self or others to not give up? You know, when you want something, just set your goal on it. Be persistent. You know, like how Frank said, you're literally 3 feet from gold. You know, you guys see that meme where, you know, one person is just walking away from gold and the next person is just so close, but he's continuing to go on. It's just like if this is your goal, right? Invest in yourself and and just make sure that you go for it. You know, we spend money on all these other things, right? On luxury goods, on fast food, and all this stuff that isn't really benefiting us. Like invest in you.
Awesome. Very, very true. Can
Oh,
you hear me now?
yes.
Yay!
Yeah.
No, awesome. Thank you. Yes, Eddie, I want to echo that. It's something that we've had to adjust in our personal budget. My husband's like, hey, you want to go out to eat? And I'm like, I want to go to Grant Cardone, so no, I'll go home and eat, you know, whatever I need to eat at home. He doesn't always like that answer, but I totally, yes, it's worth it. It's worth the investment, 100%, hands down. Starbucks, whatever your thing is, and don't get me wrong, like I have my vices too, but it is so worth it. It is just, if you can make those sacrifices now, then in the future, go buy a Starbucks, you know, whatever the case may be. But no, I just wanted to congrats, you know, Willie and Eddie. I got to meet them this weekend. Lewis, I got to talk to you a little bit more than I had in the past. And Willie, I was so impressed you brought your daughter. Because I know what it's like to travel with a little one. I know what it's like to have a little one, and to bring her along this journey. That's she will never forget that. Like that will be something that she can remember and say, I went with my dad to a property that he bought. Like that is just bragging rights, hands down, and super like hands off to you for doing that and taking that time and showing her like what she's sacrificing for, you know, the time that you're spending away from her. Like it just showed her, it was just like fruit, like, hey, look, this is what your future is. Like that's her future, right? That's why you're doing this. It's for the future of your family. So definitely hands down. I loved hosting you guys. Anytime you guys want to come, I will always do it. I will make it happen for you guys. But so congratulations. It was awesome seeing you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you,
Frank,
Tammy.
we need to get you out to Dallas, Frank. You see, you're missing now meeting all these
I
amazing
know,
people.
dude. I know.
That's amazing, guys. We want to go ahead and do some breakout rooms because we are at the top of the hour. We want to respect everybody's time. Before we do end the recording, though, guys, I want every single one of you guys to give out a piece of advice. It could be a quote, it could be a life thing, it could be a real estate thing, it could be a Bible verse, it could be anything that just gets you through your day every single day, and that's helped you get to this point, and the journey that we call life. So, yeah, that being said, let's hear them.
I'd like to
Set
go last. I
goals.
need to think about this.
I would say
Go.
set goals.
Set goals.
Um, my my advice is don't give up. You literally turning the knob of the door, right? All you gotta do is open it, and if you continue being persistent, you slowly but surely will open that door.
Okay, Eddie.
Yeah, for me, it's just you know, feel like there's a lot of things I could say, but I'll hone in on one, and that one is just that you really just gotta bet on yourself. You gotta work it. You gotta work towards your goal day in and day out, right? I think a lot of people, they see something, they don't get quick results or fast results, and they give up, right? So you gotta trust the process. You gotta surround yourself around great people like we have here, right? That everyone on this call right here, MI, cash flow, the entire team just being here to support us, and really just putting God first and trusting again that like stars are gonna align, and you're gonna achieve your goal at the right time. So for me, I'm very impatient, but honestly, everything kind of aligned, and I'm glad that it happened the way it did, because now I know that the people that I'm, partners with, they're great people, opposed to, just trying to get in quick just to say I got it. And there's been a lot of falling outs. Other teams are in bad deals, they're upside down. So, again, huge shout out to Sean, Jaina, Serge, Tammy, Jonathan, Joshi, Luis, everyone that I'm forgetting to say, right? But just the team really.
Awesome, guys. We appreciate the love and we appreciate you coming here tonight. We're gonna go ahead and stop the recording.